All right, good evening and welcome everybody. I'm Larry Williams, president of the Amelia Island Book Festival. I'm thrilled to have you as part of our very first virtual author event this year. I'm happy to say that Marsha Dean Phelts, a renowned author and resident of American Beach here on Amelia Island, is our very first presenter this year. And Marsha, we thank you so much for joining us. We're going to love this.
Yeah.
And you should see the food that's sitting out here. Because of the pandemic, the board of directors had to make the tough decision that we would not have our 2021 book festival. And last year, we were able to provide 13,000 plus books to the students of Nassau County, Florida, through the generosity of our donors and sponsors. And we thank them so much. I'm happy to say that we've embraced the pandemic challenge. A series of virtual author events.
Didn't register. You didn't register.
Basis.
It may not have
But also our online short story writing contest. We are continuing this year for different high school students in Nassau County, as well as our $5,000 AEL Foundation scholarship, which will go to one high school student whose qualifications are extraordinary, as each year we've done. And we look forward to providing awards to both the short story writing contest as well as the scholarship award at our awards ceremony in May. In addition, we'll be presenting additional online virtual events scheduled for April and May. New York Times bestselling author and former festival honorary chair, Steve Berry, will be our on April the 14th. And New York Times bestselling author and current festival honorary chair, David Baldacci, will be our presenter on May 14th, which will include the awards ceremony. We're also planning additional virtual presentations in the ensuing months. Finally, we're looking forward to our annual luncheon on October 21st, as well as our two-day 2022 festival, which will include our Authors in Schools program, the gala and live auction, and the Authors Expo and Extravaganza on February 18th and 19th, 2022. So mark your calendars and hopefully you'll be able to join us for those events. Without further ado, I want to introduce Amelia Island resident and renowned chef, Catherine Kelly, who helped make this event possible, and will introduce our guest presenter, Marsha Dean Phelts. Thank you, Catherine. Catherine is passionate about everything culinary. In 2011, she took a leave of absence from the Culinary Institute of America, and she created classes for the Oceania Cruise Line's first culinary center. She also created Oceania's wildly popular culinary discovery tours a few years back. And you can find her on YouTube, and we're thrilled to have her here with us. Catherine, welcome.
Well, thank you, and it's lovely to be here to introduce Marsha and to be her foil as she goes through all these wonderful dishes that she made. I asked Marsha, what's or that would help us get better, and she said that as a young girl, she'd always wanted to own a restaurant. But after reading her cookbook, which I did until about 3 o'clock in the morning last night. And I've got it all with the pages marked here. I can't wait to make so many of her recipes. Her personality comes through. So whether you had a restaurant or not, most of us love eating at home. I work with the Jacques Pepin, who spent many, many winters here. And, you know, sitting around a table, enjoying yourself, enjoying good food is what life is all about. And I think none of us miss that more than we do now. So Marsha is a 5th generation Floridian. She was at the Jacksonville Public Library for many, many years. And if you read her book, The American Beach,
No luck.
you can tell how passionately and carefully you researched every single bit of this book. And it was a fabulous read. And I'm sure many of you have read it. And if you haven't, I highly recommend it. And I don't think there's a better way to introduce a cookbook than to read something that you wrote. And in your chapter 20 on American Beach dining rooms, you have a quote from Ruth Lynn Waters. And it reads, "Aromas of sizzling fried beach whitings and shrimp dinners, accented with the smell of mustard and hot sauce, seep from the boundaries of Duck's Place and Evans, as adult patrons casually sip on soothing refreshments while enjoying hearty conversation and laughter and listening to the blues." So with great introduce you to Marsha Phelts, who's going to share with you 5 dishes from her fabulous cookbook, The American Beach Cookbook. So I'll just give you
And
a
just start clicking on that link I sent you, didn't open it up.
yeah. And we're both fully vaccinated, so we're good. We're good.
Thank you so much, Catherine, and thank you so much for the honor, Amelia Island Book Festival. As you have said, Larry, this is the 20th
And you clicked on that and it still didn't open up.
we've been having the festival. And for the Amelia Island Book Festival to honor me by having me here among such great writers and publishers, culinary chefs. You know, I mean, I am in my element. I did not know Catherine Kelly, but Catherine Kelly worked with Jacques Pepin. And Jacques is a person who's a contemporary of Julia Child and can't remember the other one. Y'all know how old I am. I can't remember stuff. Julia Child, and what's the other guy's name?
It was Jock and Julia for the most part. Yeah.
Okay, but somebody used to be on Channel 7. But at any rate, just to be in that same space and place and for you all to have invited me, I am honored. And for you to have read that quotation from Ruth Waters, that was a poem that Ruth had written, and that's not all of it, but she just captured the essence of what American Beach is to people who know her. And DNA. It's in my DNA. Cooking, as Catherine said, I wanted to have owned a restaurant. I, at my age today, born, I don't remember, you do the math, born in 1944. And at this age today, I am just so happy that I did not get to own myself a restaurant, because restaurant work and foodie and cooking is real hard work. And we just had not a catastrophe, but I guess a test when I brought a dish up here that I'm going to demonstrate. And I'm just coming up here and I want to show off that I can do this and I can do that. And I brought a dish that wasn't going to work. But because of a master chef, because of Catherine Kelly, she worked with it for 1 hour until it just flopped right out. Now, do we have this centerpiece right here? Okay, this is the first recipe, and it
And
is.
what so I'll play your foil. What page, let's see, would this one be? 83.
Thank you. On
Okay.
page 83.
Because I read recipes and actually follow them, so there you
Oh,
go.
wonderful.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Oh, look at this.
And that's what I want you all to do. And that's what I did. But you know what? She reads them, she follows them, but you know something else? When she figures out, and you know how we all do it, when you figure it needs something else in it, or I want to try this, then we try it. And if there is something that you don't have, if you needed celery, for instance, and you don't have any celery. Nobody's gonna run out to the store at midnight or 2 a.m. or anytime just to pick up celery. And when I do celery, it's like you just need 3 stalks, and then here are 12 other pieces that just wither and, you know, shrizzle it and go to waste. So you don't have celery, guess what? Use garden peas. Whether they're in the can or whether they're frozen, they do the same exact thing that your celery would do. Now that you look at this gorgeous picture, what is this? And if you don't have the book, you might not know what it is. And when people come to my house and I want to show off, you know, sometimes I just cook stuff, but then there are times when I want to be impressive. And this is something that I've been doing for a long time. Now you know what it looks like, but what it actually is just a simple loaf of bread. And I'll hold this loaf of bread up. And instead of cutting it vertically, you just do it horizontally. And here, what's my part is coming apart. Oh, hot dog, I got that. You got
Okay,
this.
chef, there you
Okay,
go.
okay. So here, there's a horizontal cut, 1, a horizontal cut, 2, okay?
Got it.
And then you start, this is the bottom layer, and here you put your filling in. Well, what kind of filling do you want? What do you have? You want to put a salad filling in. Maybe you want to do a veggie filling. Throw it in here. Then slap this back on top, and then you have another filling. Maybe you want to put egg salad in here. Make your egg salad, spread it across the bread, the loaf of bread, and then flop it on top. And then you cover it with some good stuff. What's good stuff? Not cottage, what's that word?
Cream cheese.
Yeah.
All right, I'm reading the recipe.
Here you have a sandwich platter. Now this sandwich platter for you, because I'm trying to show off, this is very, very special. And if I could have one of those dishes,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna
One of these?
allow you, put that book down.
Oh no, you're gonna make me work.
You're not gonna work. You're simply gonna
I
cut
thought I got the
it. You're gonna cut this. Can you cut this
Yeah.
so
yeah.
that we can see what's inside?
Do you want me to use that? You know, I don't think I've ever used one of these. I think
What?
my grandpa used one of these in, like, with the turkey. Okay. All right. So do you want just like a slice through here?
Yes.
All right. Thin, thick?
Thin if you're not hungry, thick if you're starving.
Look at there.
No,
Oh
no,
my
we gotta
God.
cut some more, cut it on off.
Cut some more?
Yeah, cut it off. Oh, can I pick it up?
There you go.
You know what?
One.
This is the only way I know how to cut
my
these
gosh, so
sandwiches.
now how did
And
that turn
This is
green?
the only way my friends know how to cut these sandwiches. We're gonna cut another piece and stick it on top of this.
Okay, all right.
And if we have anybody in the audience who wants to try this, please do
All right,
so.
there you go. Now you need to move the plate. Yep, there you go.
Okay, and here, oh, Marsha knows how to,
Oh my gosh,
she
look at
knows how
that.
to mess up stuff.
It's all right. Doesn't have to always look pretty.
Oh, mercy.
That's good.
Let me tell you what I'm looking at. This bottom layer is shrimp salad. When I look in the middle layer, it's egg salad. And I look at the top layer, it's crab salad. With even the orange part is crab eggs. Can I get anybody to get this? And here's the forks and the knife and down here.
So many references in both of your books to crabbing on the island and how to properly crab and cook a crab and so forth. He's looking for
Right
it
there,
for it.
there we got
There you
it.
go.
Okay, and how to cook the crab?
And how to cook the crab, and so crabbing was a really big part of American Beach.
Most
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah. And oysters.
And they were so plentiful, you didn't even have to bake them. You didn't even need a net. You just walk out to the water and wherever you would see a hump like, or say, a lump of sand, at the tide's edge, you just scoop down there and pick your crab up. And still, fishing, crab, shrimp is plentiful, and I have some wonderful neighbors, Rod Miller and Dr. Eugene Emery, who supply me with my fish stuff. But at any rate, this is a wonderful.
How does it taste? What's the
Oh,
jury?
yes.
It is fabulous. Fabulous.
Oh, we need somebody else to get a piece. No.
Good, yeah, all right.
We do one more dish, one
One
more
more
dish,
dish,
one more
okay.
dish up. Now, I'm gonna try and cut, I'm gonna cut.
All right, yeah.
Ah,
Here, let me hold this for you. Okay. Oh, I get to lick
Oh,
my
you-
fingers because there's some of that good cream cheese on there.
Oh, can you hear this? Oh my God. Somebody's gonna have to be real hungry to eat this one.
Yeah, you're bringing out the heavy artillery equipment here to, you want me to try that or you
Yeah,
want?
you
All
try,
right.
you try.
See if I can. There you
Oh, it looks
go. Look at
good.
that. Isn't that gorgeous? And you've got chives on there too.
I wish the camera could show, oh,
Yeah,
I know.
there we
the
go.
camera can
All right. What else you
Somebody got to get a fork and get the sandwich out of the way. Ooh, this is a sandwich platter. You can use seafood, you can use poultry, you can use vegetables, you can use anything you like. And I just want you to see the center. Okay.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
Bob, are they looking at the,
Can they see that?
food? It is as tasty as it looks. So,
And in your, it's cream cheese and then you've got some parsley and chives and looks like some shallot or some kind of little onion
that's,
in that.
no, that is, pickle relish, sweet pickle relish. You know, just to
yes.
give
Oh,
it
that's
another
great.
little,
I'm glad I asked.
another
'cause
kick
yeah.
and another taste.
Yeah.
So we'll move off of this
Let me
sandwich
take
platter.
that, okay.
This is something that back in the day, we had teas, when you had weddings, just nice formal parties. That was something that was around, and I have been familiar in using this since childhood. Now, there's
Next, on the hit
another
parade.
dish
Oh.
on the hit parade.
This one, by the way, I wish we had smell-o-vision because this one's just heavenly.
And it's the one that was put in a bundt cake pan to use as a mold. And you know, we have molds in all kinds of shapes, all kinds of sizes. But for tonight, I wanted to use, I just wanted to be fancy. I just wanted to show off. And so I used a cake and didn't know how to get it out of the mold. But
Oh, that's what you have me here for.
and thank goodness, Barb and Howard, you all were able to bring in Catherine, and so I was able to, now you're able to see how gorgeous this is. And so I have a paring knife.
Oh, you know what? It's over here. It's in the,
Oh, you took the knife?
it's
You
in the,
moved it out of the
it's in
way?
the bundt pan. There you go.
Oh, that's right.
There you go.
Thank you.
Now, what page is this on? So for those that are following along at home, is this in the poultry section?
172.
172.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you. So,
Pressed chicken.
pressed chicken, let me just make an easy cut. Easy cut. See now why I wasn't in a restaurant. I just don't know how to make things pretty.
Here's your,
You were cleaning up.
well, that's what we do, you know? We mess up, we clean up. We mess up, we clean up.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. So now in this recipe, I have that you've got gelatin chicken broth, cooked and seasoned chicken, lemon juice, mayonnaise, hard-boiled eggs, celery, and buttered nuts.
Okay, the buttered nuts would have been for the garnish,
Okay.
and I didn't bother about the garnish. And
Now,
so,
how did you season your chicken? Could you buy
That's-
like a rotisserie chicken and just tear it apart, or?
Ooh,
Yeah.
that would be
Time
better
saver?
buying a rotisserie chicken would be better than cooking your own flavors are within, and the chicken's already cooked. You just chop them up, and then you put in your onions. No, this doesn't have onion. This just has celery,
Celery, right.
and
Your
boiled
hard-boiled,
eggs,
yeah.
right?
I could see the eggs in there
You
too, they look
use
great.
you use chicken stock also. One thing about it, it calls for gelatin, and we talk about measurements, and it says 1 tablespoon of gelatin, and when you get 1 envelope of gelatin, you pour it in a tablespoon. Guess what? Especially a measuring spoon and edge it off, it is exactly a tablespoon. So the recipe calls for 4 tablespoons of gelatin, so that's just 1 pack of unflavored gelatin. And this is another tasty show-offy dish. Now, I realized I didn't have enough seasoning in it. And when you're cooking, you do want to taste and see whether you need to add more or what you need to do to adjust it to make it palatable. And I did taste it, and it tasted good to me. But I'm not heavy on salt, and I'm not heavy on sugar. And so I did not add as much salt as one would need. I did bring the salt and pepper shaker here. And if we have someone who will help us, please come.
Could we have
get
some
your
volunteers?
fork.
Yes?
And,
Oh, yeah.
and then we have
Oh,
salt,
it just smells so
we have
fun.
pepper, and we have hot sauce. All make it palatable to your taste. However, it is all tasty. And the recipes that are in the cookbook, these are recipes. Oh, good, we got a cheer from Barb. But the recipes in the book and why the book was written, these are vintage recipes. These are recipes from our homes. These are contemporary recipes from our experiments. And they are the recipes that every family living at American Beach utilizes for company. And you know, when you live in a place like American Beach, like Virginia Beach, you know, one thing that you're not going to be short on, and that's company.
I love that.
You're going to always have company. And for the people who live here, you are here because of the beauty of the island, the beauty of the state. And so when your company comes, you want to be just like me. You want to show off. Now, when my husband and I came here 33 years ago, you couldn't stop him from frying fish, barbecuing chicken, cooking and hosting and having guests after guests after guests after guests. You couldn't stop it. And American Beach people or Bernardino Beach people, you always had somebody coming over. And we were just always ready to show out and to show off. This is one of those delicious, most delicious dishes. So
So Marsha,
Please
before you
try
go
it.
to your next dish,
Yeah.
you talked so much about families and eating eating at American Beach and in the neighborhood. Tell us how the food in the restaurants, there were several restaurants that it's just sounded like they were heavenly places to be. So how did the food at home versus the food in the many restaurants on American Beach, how are they different?
Good is good. Best is best. And everybody watch it. If you know this, you know, I tell you two things. One thing, you cannot find a bad restaurant here. I have never gone into a restaurant that I couldn't go back into. And in coming up with this book, I have recipes from restaurants that are no longer here. One recipe went back to the 1800s from the Sandbar restaurant, which is no longer here, but it was a ritual for me. Every Sunday, I had to come to the beach. And every Sunday, I had to go to the Sandbar restaurant and have the crab cakes. And I would order a big order. So, you know, they had queen size and king size and stuff like that. And I'd have to order the big one so that I could eat 2 crab cakes, then have the 3rd crab cake to take for lunch on Monday morning. I was able to wriggle the recipe from the hands of Elsie Lohman. Elsie Lohman was the babysitter for the Johnson family. And so that's a long story, a long time, a great memory. My neighbor who lived across the streets from me, Evelyn Jefferson. Evelyn, a native of Amelia Island, her family lived in Franklin Town. And so if you're new, you don't know Franklin Town. If you're old, you know that Franklin Town was a Black community on the southern end of Amelia Island. And they were having been in slavery on the Harrison plantation. But Evelyn came out of Franklin Town and she just had some marvelous cooking experiences and worked in these great restaurants, Elizabeth Point, Sandbar, and a lot of others around here. And so I got a lot of her recipes in the book. And I just got recipes from people. If you got people coming from Philadelphia, people coming from New York, everywhere they came from, they brought their food. And the food on American Beach from these homes, the food in the restaurants, y'all know why we're so popular. We're so popular because we welcome company and we just know how to work it. We know, you know, we can give you something to drink that's super, you know, I mean, the drink just was as important as the food to me.
The music. So while I get your 3rd dish ready, I want you to tell the audience one of the things that last night I thought so much about my grandmother while I was reading and rereading the recipe book. And you talk about a cast iron pan. And you talk about how you can't just go out and buy a cast iron pan. My grandmother, in her will, scratched on a piece of paper left in the family Bible, left me her cast iron pan that was her mother's, and I still have it to this day. So talk about seasoning. How
You know,
like how many generations does a
you
pan have to
are
go
a
through?
kindred spirit, and you're a kindred spirit. You're my sister.
Yeah.
Oh, my sister.
So tell the folks about the importance of your pan. We'll get your next dish.
How would you bring us that heavy cast iron pan? He's gonna skip those thingamajigs, so we're gonna go into the cast. Oh, I brought all my cute dishes and all my fancy stuff. But a cast iron frying pan, if you are a cook, no cook is without a cast iron frying pan. And you don't even have to buy them if you know how to get them. And the way you get them is that you go to the person who has one, because if you have one, you have two. And if you have two, you have three, four. I got 5 or 6 cast iron pans. And this one is my favorite. Now, it doesn't look like anything. And I brought all my little gold trim dishes and all my little glass cut dishes and all that stuff. But look here, sister, Big Mama brought that cast iron pan. I'm so proud of it. Now, it don't look like nothing, you know, woo, but it's seasoned, and I can just get a whiff of what came out from that cast iron pan. Just the cast iron pan was magic, and I know in your family it was magic too, because it made everything taste good. And we did not have an assortment of these dishes and these pots and these pans and, you know, da 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 da. You had a grits pot for grits in the morning. If you were well enough off, you had a rice pot, but our grits pot served as a rice pot, which means you cooked the grits in the morning and you had to eat them up, and then you cooked the rice for dinner. And
I remember in your book, your mother used to get upset with you because you would drag the pan out and she needed it for rice in the evening, and she'd ask you where the pan was. And didn't she eventually get you your own pans when you finally grew up?
Well, I would carry the pot out, you know, in pretense of I'm gonna wash this pot out and clean it up. And with dirt, I couldn't cook with food. My granddaughter cooks with food, but I had to cook with dirt. So I was always bothering pots and pans. But getting back to this, get you a cast iron pan. My mama and my daddy got married in 1935. And this here big old number 10 cast iron pan, mama got it from Sears and Roebuck for a whole $1. You know, this pan and the top. This is worth falling out about to get it.
Oh, yeah.
This is
yeah.
worth going over there and, you know, and taking it.
Yep.
And
You can have the fancy lamp and you can have the
Yeah.
fancy bed or whatever. I want the pan.
that word will come up. Go get the pan, okay? But this is sweet potato pone. And I ain't asking nobody to taste this.
Oh, all right, here you go. Oh, that's a knife. You don't want that. You want a spoon or a fork?
I can use my hand.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Now, do we have another plate?
Just give me a napkin. Just give me a napkin.
Ooh, oh, she's got her pretty, yeah. We'll put a little in there.
And it smells good. And I know it. Oh, I know how good it
So
tastes.
this is, now what, Howard, what page is this on?
Oh,
This is on page 108.
oh, man.
I think I marked it.
Sweet. Oh, y'all gotta give Bob some. Come here. Give me a plate for Bob.
Is it
Now,
108?
Have a plate.
I was trying to refrain from using the word steal when I said, go over to that house and get that cast iron pan.
So for those of you at home, this has in sweet potatoes, eggs, milk, cream, butter, ginger, grated orange rind, cinnamon, vanilla, and nutmeg. And you talk in your book also about how you called white potatoes iced potatoes back in the day, right?
I didn't know any better. We didn't know any
Iced
better.
potatoes. And then sweet potatoes, right? And we're considered more poverty food. We call it, you know, Italian. In Italian, the cuisine of the, I'm watching the CNN thing with Stanley Tucci, and he talks about, okay? But I think you
You're the
said,
second person I heard say something about sweet potatoes being poverty food.
I'm just-
and
I
sweet
think I'm
potatoes
quoting
ain't no
from you.
poverty food.
yeah,
Marjorie Ann Rollins said that was poverty food, and poor folks ate sweet potato. But Bob, is that a poverty food?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
He said, no, ma'am.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
woo. But I did steal something here. What page is that?
108.
108.
That's a Big Mama recipe.
My Big Mama's sweet potato pone. Well, on page 109, there is a recipe for, what's that?
That's your sweet potato souffle.
Sweet potato souffle. Now, everybody in the community knows Barbara Jones. Barbara is the wife of Carlton Jones. Carlton Jones is past president of American Beach Property Owners Association, and he's president of the Friends, American Beach Friends. Well, went to Barbara Jones' house one day, and they had dinner, and they had sweet potato souffle. Oh, it was so good. And, you know, and all these recipes in the book, 300 recipes. I went to people and, you know, like whoever served fish or whoever served a hamburger. Was like, oh, that is really good. Oh, that is different. May I have your recipe? Blah, blah. So she said that she each year had to buy a bushel, as much as a bushel from the floor up to there. She would buy a bushel of sweet potatoes and make the sweet potato souffle for her family every year. And that's a big chance. Well, had sweet potato at her house. She gave me the recipe. Here it is in the book. Fast forward, this book is 2008. So fast forward to 2015. All these people on the beach, you know, oh, we can do this, oh, we can do that. And you know, the best cooks are da. So you know what we did? We had a cook-off. We had cooking, you know, cooking contest, and we went to the supervisor. He said, hey, Ms. Vicky, we want to have an election. We want to find out who can cook the best this, who can cook the best that, who can cook the best the other. And so she brought the, we arranged to have this cook-off. She brought the, what you call them, election machines out to she brought them out to the community center. So these were the ballots. And we had 20, 30 people. We had 30 people who jumped in this cook-off. And we had recipes for main dish. We had recipes for side dish. We had recipes for dessert. Recipes for this, that, and the other. And the only thing I have here is the ballot for the liquor. And I'm fumbling here looking for, you know, all of the recipe things. But at any rate, and so we also had competition in who made the best drinks. And Barbara Jones won 52% of the vote with her sweet potato souffle. And even though she won best in her category, which was side dish, she won best in side dish, and then you had overall winner, and she won that. So last night, I cooked the sweet potato pone. A sweet potato pone. And then my eyes, you know how like when you're cheating, taking a test and you're cheating, and you look over to the person to your right or the person to your left, and you don't even know their answer, you go steal it. My right eye looked over on page 109, and I saw what I saw on page 109 right here. Special topping. And I stole Barbara's special topping and I put it on Big Mama's sweet potato pie. And I mean, sweet potato pone.
Okay.
And this is something delicious.
And that sweet potato topping, for those that are trying to follow along at home, because they're going to go out and buy a cookbook. It's light brown sugar, flour, cinnamon, pecans.
Pecan.
Yeah, there's a long story about that in the South, isn't there? And butter. Oh my gosh. Aren't sweet potatoes magic? They're just magic. Yeah.
Thank you, Barbara. And that's it for
Okay,
that.
so I'll take that one
Oh,
away.
Rusty.
And what are you going to want to do next?
Whoever was here. Oh, here. They were in line. The spinach. I need to stop on sweet potato pie.
Page 48.
Page 48. Okay.
I've been cooking this a long time. And these are spinach balls. You entertain and you want finger food, you want something easy to manage. And that's what I come up with, a nice appetizing vegetable. Now, the whole while we were preparing for tonight, I was just testing things and seeing how it came out. And of course, I had to go to my neighbors and say, here, try this, try that, tell me what it needs. And Evelyn Jones, telling me to keep practicing. It took me a while before I realized, it took me a while to know what was going on. Because there would never be any recommendations for changes or put some more of this in or do some more of that. This is keep practicing, keep practicing. And so today is my final practice, but I had a good time and I did gain some weight. I won't say how many weights I gained, but I did pick up some weights. And Eve calls these meatballs. That's simply because they're the size of a meatball. And they are absolutely delicious. The good thing about it is they can also be served at room temperature. And so what's in the,
So what's in here? We have chopped spinach, and then tell us about, you've got packaged herb stuffing mix. Tell us about what your favorite is there. Onions, eggs, Parmesan cheese, butter, thyme, which is, oh, that's so great with spinach, and then garlic, and then salt and pepper.
okay. And so what's the favorite stuffing? It's just the stuffing that you use if you want to stuff a turkey or a chicken or whatever. What's my favorite? It's the stuffing that you use if you don't have any and you got some old bread in the house and you sit up there and crumb him up and put seasonings in it. So it's no favorite stuffing for me. It's what you have and it's, you know,
What season? Yeah, you want to
what
have some
seasons
season.
that
Yeah.
you put in it what it is that you like. So I've been doing this for a real long time. Now, this is my neighbor, Ron Miller. This is Ron's favorite dish. And sometimes I say this, you know, you're gonna have an activity and you're tired and you've been working too hard and blah, blah, blah. And you don't feel like rolling and all that kind of stuff. You just take this thing and put it in a casserole dish and slap them in the oven and dip them out just like I dipped out the sweet potato pie. But
Do you ever use different cheeses other than Parmesan with those, or?
yeah,
can you
use whatever I
different-
have.
Whatever you have.
Yeah, I don't stop to go to the store to buy some Parmesan, you know, cheddar works and what's another word?
The goat cheese, cheddar
Goat
cheese,
cheese,
I love, yeah. That's
And
the one that's good.
I'm not that experienced with the cheeses. I know I like them. I know they cost money. You know, they cost more than the American cheese. But now I am ready to move on because they do make a difference. And you look at the macaroni and some people use 4 different kinds of
Oh, yeah.
cheese in it. So I'm ready to move on to another cheese.
Yeah, great, thank you. Oh, this looks so good. And you can serve these room temperature or warm, right? Oh, yum, yum, yum. Okay, now we have your last dish.
Okay.
How we get that one?
Yeah, got it.
Thank you. Now, the last dish takes us back to childhood. And it's mince, butter mince. And not just back to childhood, it takes you back to an era. It takes you back to a golden era of America. The time when we had formal programs and the good thing about it was the fellowshipping afterwards. And I can just remember the delicious mints, the pastel colors, and the beautiful presentations on the tables. I can remember, we used to have silver service, you had to have a complete set of silver, a serving tray, a teapot, coffee, creamer, sugar, and all of that. And so these mints were during that era, and I made these mints. And as I made them and shared them with my neighbors and my friends and family, it just drew a reaction, a flash, because it's something that's missing. Now, I did go to the store and I bought some mints because, I was like, once I decided to make these mints, and I've been making them a long time, I went to the store and I bought some mints. I thought she was French because she worked with Jacques. Hey,
I'm
how
Irish.
you say that?
Non-pareils, pastel mints.
Okay,
That's good
non-reals.
enough for me.
Okay.
Whatever.
But I went and I purchased these, and they have the beautiful colors, they're pastel and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, you don't want to run around and eat cough drops, do you? Cough drops help you, and I'm not saying this is nasty, but for you to eat it, it would be like, oh, well, let me get a cough drop to change the flavor or change the taste in my mouth. So don't worry.
Now, if you want to make these at home, is this complicated? Because it says they have 3 to 4 hours to dry at room temperature.
This is the easiest thing, the most complicated thing. Let me get that wooden spoon. I
Yeah.
love.
This one?
Yeah, this one. This is my cake mixer. This is my whisk. This is my stirrer. And when I made the mince, I just put in, it called for, what did it say, a pound?
A
confectioner's-
pound of confectioner's sugar and a 1/4 cup of whipping cream with a tablespoon of unsalted butter and some drops. You have peppermint oil or peppermint extract. Yeah. And then a
And
little
salt.
salt. You put a little salt
A
in
little
it too.
bit.
Yeah.
And so you get, you pour that pound of sugar in. A pound of confectioner's sugar is free. If you use, what's that, the brown sugar, that's 2½ cups. So know how many cups are, how many ounces of something you're to have. And, so you pour that sugar in your bowl and you just, you can't do this because here you got a whole pound, 3½ cups of confectioner's sugar. You just stir, you stir, and you pour 1/4 cup, which is not much, of heavy cream in there, and 2 tablespoons of melted butter. So you got to be working it. You got to work it. You don't let it dry out, and you just keep going and stirring and tugging until it forms a ball that feels like putty. Okay, and when you get that, then you can roll them out. You all know we used to, didn't have a rolling pin. I have a rolling pin. When I was a girl, my mama had bottles, and I used a Coca-Cola bottle for a rolling pin. But right now I have a wooden rolling pin. So you just roll him out till he's about 1/4 of an inch thick, and then you cut him. You cut him, like I would roll him, and then I take that knife and go click, 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 and get some round balls like this. But because I was showing off for y'all, because y'all invited me, I got my granddaughter to order these little contraptions. And so this is one shape.
Oh, gosh, I'm gonna make these
Oh,
with my
that's the
grandkids.
middle, this is the middle shape
Yeah.
of the triangle. And shape. So this is cute. This is a small shape. And this is the, what is that? That's a flower. And then I have another one, I don't see it, but that's all right. Here, I got a star,
Mm.
and I have rectangle, and I have square, and I have circle, and I have oval. So I got about 5 or 6 shapes here. Now, Bob, would you put the camera on somebody who will eat one of these? All right.
Get in the camera so they can see if you like it.
And then that's what people do.
They always come for another one.
That's exactly what they do.
I'll just take one of this chair.
So now, but Bob, did it do anything to you?
Oh, man.
How did it do something to you?
Just the bomb.
No, I didn't even have,
You
but
can
you
get
could
Howard.
taste, he could taste it, he could taste it, and you know what? You at home, you are virtual and Zoom, and I know you could taste this stuff up here, because I can taste food on my television. When I watch a cook show, I can actually taste that food.
So can you use different colors of like food coloring? If you like with Easter coming up, if you wanted to do some yellow or purple and green. different
Any
color?
color you want. And my friends, American Beach and Beyond, that I gave these to, these are just the latest ones that I made because they enjoyed the other ones so much. And I had other things to do and I couldn't go back and pick up the colors that I wanted to pick up and pick up the flavors. And so this is mint, but what else did you taste there? Okay.
Very interesting.
Sugar.
Sugar, yeah, that's great for me.
You taste one, now you know better
Oh,
than
sure.
that. Tell me,
Absolutely.
sugar.
It's like a little bit of orange.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit of orange, yes, so you can put your orange flavor in it,
Oh,
you
wow.
can put your lemon flavor in it.
It
you
tastes
can
like
put-
your childhood.
You can put your rum flavor, it tastes like your childhood, and that's exactly what I
Yeah,
wanted to do.
yeah.
Tastes like childhood.
Oh my
So-
gosh, this is great. So I think we have some questions.
Oh,
I want to have the first question, or can I have the last question? Okay. I loved reading about Aunt Liza. And Aunt Liza
my
had
sister.
a catering business. And it says here, when Aunt Liza, she never gave anybody her recipes, right? So people would come, she would do these great catering events, like some of the things that you said that she did was crazy. And in my basement, when Aunt Liza died in 1974, she left me 12 letters of her catering engagements and recipes, which spanned a period from 1948 to 1972. Now, this belongs in the Library of Congress.
you-
for crying out loud.
She calling me out,
Yeah.
all my secrets exposed.
Okay, but this is what I love. The first recipe I tried was the seafood casserole. Okay, so out of all the 300 recipes in this book, the one that I literally dreamt of last night was Aunt Liza's seafood casserole, which has, amongst other things, 3 pounds of lump crab meat, 3.5 pounds of lobster meat, 3.5 pounds of large shrimp, okay, and a whole bunch of other good stuff. But her 1966 shopping list had lobster meat for $2.50 a pound, shrimp for $1.10 a pound, and lump crab meat for $3 a pound. Now, the story as it reads is that somebody asked you to make her casserole and you wouldn't go shopping because you said, if I told you how much I spent, you wouldn't believe me. So you made the person who you were catering for go and get the groceries because it was just going to be outrageously expensive. But this casserole, this seafood casserole,
You were doing
Yeah.
some
mustard,
reading.
pimentos, Worcestershire sauce. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You know what? If I were in prison and they said, what would your last meal be? I think I might choose Aunt Liza's seafood casserole. So anything you want to tell us about that casserole before we take a question?
That Aunt Liza was my daddy's baby sister. And Aunt Liza did not give her recipes away. Mama would say, Liza, I like that cake. Liza, I like that casserole. Da, 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 da. She'd bake that for you. She'd fry that for you. She'd stew it. She'd cook it. your recipes. Every year, Aunt Liza would have the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, of which A. Philip Randolph was the president. They would come to Jacksonville, and they'd come to my Aunt Liza's house, and she'd fix this thing and that thing. She'd show all off on all that good stuff, and she would always have that seafood casserole. And I tell people, and that was my best friend who had her club over, and she wanted me to, she wanted to show off. She wanted to impress, I can do better than that. And she wanted me to cook this seafood casserole. And so I said, okay, here's the list. And she, my whole life, I've known her since 1944. Ooh, I done told her age, poor thing. But it was St. Francis, Darby, Daniels, Wilcox, whatever. And when Francis went to the store and purchased all those things, she went, oh gosh, Marsha, now I see why you would not make it and let me pay you. Because if I told her, give me, $25, $25. But if I said, give me $25, like, well, you ain't $25 for this shit. Yeah, she knew it didn't cost that much, but now she knows how much it cost. And I say to people today, when you get your stimulus check, when you get your income tax return, when you win the lottery, cook that recipe. And that, to me and to my Aunt Liza, is so special that in the chapter, it's only one recipe, and that's Aunt Liza's seafood casserole.
Well, I'm gonna make it and then tell you how it comes
You
out.
got your stimulus check?
I'll need it for that. Although you did say in the recipe that you could cut it in half or thirds, right? Right.
But you make the big recipe, and all of these recipes, they are big recipes, but guess what? You can cut them in half, you can cut them in quarters. But when you got a gang of people coming to play with you, you need that full recipe. But yeah, and it's worth it. Like a dish for today, a dish for later, and a dish for someone else that you love and you want to share it with. These are some good recipes. They aren't just Marsha's family. These are the people of American Beach and how they rolled and how they entertained. Last thing, Edna Calhoun was the dean of girls at Florida A&M, and she got to Washington, D.C. She was the dean of women at Howard University. Edna would have a party. And when Edna had a party, and she would invite all of us, all of her friends from everywhere around the country, all the highfalutin, people would come. And what we would have to do, we'd have to call in sick. And the reason you had to call in sick was because you'd be sick if you missed Edna's party. And she knew how to throw down, and she had all of the elements to make a wonderful time for everyone. And that's American Beach. That's the people of American Beach. And that's Fernandina Beach. That's Amelia Island. No matter where you come from, you come here and you're home. You're welcome. People speak to you and look you straight in your face and say, hey, Bob.
I think we have 4 more minutes, so let's pick a good question.
The number one question.
Number one
tonight.
question. Okay.
Everybody that's getting their stimulus check, everybody that's getting their tax return, they want to know where to buy that wonderful cookbook.
Woo, gee whiz. Really?
Really?
Sue Nelson at the Book Law has it on the shelf right now. And Donna, what's Donna's name? Kaufman has it at Songs Story and Song right now. And me, don't never ask an author. Like my friend Rodney Hurst, President Richard Preston, my friend Mark Little, my friend Annette Myers. Don't ask no author where to find their book. I got it right here. More this week. And it's just $20, and it's a good testament.
Cooking with love, that's what it is, cooking with love.
Yes, it is.
Number 2 question from tonight. Do you have a favorite soup recipe?
So,
Soup?
I would like to know who asked that. I bet that's somebody from my book club named Pride. Let me tell y'all how I would do Pride. Eugene Emery, and I just wrote him last night because I'm upset. I didn't have any fish stew for Christmas or for the winter season. And Ron Miller, I called him and said, when you going fishing? Soup recipe. It's fish stew. And my book club every August. Now August they don't time for soup, but they would come every August and I would fix them fish stew. Here's fish stew. Here's fish stew. And it just got so to the time that, you know what I mean, I just stopped trying to cover and call it fish stew because it wasn't fish stew. You know what it was? You know what kind of fish stew I fixed them?
I don't know.
You
I look
don't
at your
know.
Krakow fishmonger, I don't know if that's.
It was not fish stew, it was fish head stew. And you know, you got these sophisticated people, you know, I don't want no bone in my fish. I can't eat it with the tail. Ooh, I can't stand the eyes and the head and the teeth. But they love the fish head stew. And I can actually tell the truth and say, y'all eating fish head. Ron, y'all better get back out here and make me some fish head stew. You know my friends.
Yeah, Ron's got one of the soup recipes is Ron's. So
Oh,
and you
okay.
credit him with. Yeah, I think it's the. See, I really did read this book.
I tell you,
I
and
did.
it's a great book.
Right,
Ron.
Krakow
Fishmonger. Okay,
Yeah.
so Croc, did it say
And that's flounder. Yeah.
Oh.
So that's got fish and shrimp.
Well,
stock.
Ron is a real picky fisherman, and he brings now Emery just gives me the fish head. Ron will bring me the fish that he doesn't like pompano and bluefish. I get all the bluefish I could want from Ron, and the book club loves the bluefish because I make a bluefish spread.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have time for one more question?
We have one comment from one of your biggest fans.
Oh.
She wants you to know that she was enjoying a lime mint tonight while you were enjoying your buttermint.
Is that Eve? Now I'm not bringing none of these, and you haven't had any of these, because everybody here, I got a little sack. And everybody here is gonna get this. And the next time the Amelia Island Book Festival invites me to do a presentation, I'll give you some. I'll make some of these for you. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, friends.
Marsha and Catherine, thank you ever so much. It's such a thrill to have you here right on Amelia Island, to be able to join us and be our first presenters, and you did a terrific job, and we're going to help eat this after we finish here tonight. Just a reminder that our April event will be with Steve Berry, author Steve Berry, at 6:30 on April the 14th. At www.ameliaislandbookfestival.org. You can also see all of our upcoming events that will occur during the next year or so. Stay connected with us at the website. On May 14th, author David Baldacci will be our presenter for our virtual event at 6 p.m. Again, you can register by going to www.ameliaislandbookfestival.org. And we thank you so much, and good night, and have a great day tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.